back to the Jessica Ruth Knits podcast. I am Jessica, your host, and this is a podcast about knitting and fibery goodness. Today is Sunday, June 11th, and this is episode 21. So, like I said, my name is Jessica. You can find me on Instagram. I am Jessica Ruth Knits. On Facebook, I am Jessica Knits. And on Ravelry, I am Sergeant Griff's Girl. So it's SGTGRIFFSGIRL. I'm most active on Ravelry and Instagram as far as knitting goes. Facebook is kind of all over the place, but if you want knitting content, I would go to Instagram. So, I am currently podcasting from California. I'm at my parents' house. I will be here for this summer. If this is your first episode, welcome. I'm in California because my husband and I are doing in vitro fertilization. So it takes a couple months. We can't get pregnant on our own. So I came out here for the summer to stay with my parents, and I transferred work out here. But I live in Arkansas with my husband, and we have a little farm there. So for the next month or two, probably 2 or 3 months, the location's going to be out in California. So that is where I am. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I absolutely appreciate every single person that watches this. And if you watch it and you like it, I would love if you would give me a thumbs up on right down below. It just boosts the video. It gets more people to see what we're doing. If you haven't subscribed and you want to subscribe and you want to find out when I post a new video, you can hit the subscribe button. I understand that there are a lot of podcasts out there. So you subscribe to the ones that you like, and I understand that. So thank you, new viewers, returning viewers. I appreciate you all. I just got home from a trip to South Dakota last night. My grandmother is 90 years old. Her older brother, who's already passed, his wife passed away. She was 94. And so my grandma she can't fly on her own right now. So my mom and I flew out with her. And I feel like when you've been married as long as my grandparents and her siblings have, I mean, we're talking 60 plus years of marriage. A sister-in-law is pretty much like your sister. I mean, there's not really any difference. So even though it sounds weird saying my grandmother's sister-in-law, it was really like her sister. So there's a ton of family out there. So it was so fun to go along and just hear all their stories about my Aunt Hazel, who was the one that passed, and where she was like an hour away from the farm where my grandma and all of her siblings grew up. So one day after the funeral, we drove back to their hometown, and it was my grandma, it was her younger brother, who I believe is 88. I'm sorry, Cal, if you're not 88. But, and her sister, who is 97. So we took the three of them back to their hometown, and they just kind of took us on a tour of where they used to live. A lot of the places aren't there anymore, so that was sad. We had been out there, I think in the year 2000. And places like her high school was still there at that time, but now it was just a field. It had all been demolished. So I think that was hard for her to see. But it was just fun for the three of them to be together and reminiscing about where they grew up. So South Dakota, while we weren't there for, a very happy reason, it was such a good trip. It was so good to see family and just be together. So it was a last minute trip. We found out on Monday that my aunt had passed, and on Tuesday we flew out. So it was very quick. I was so thankful to be able to get off work. I thought maybe they would give me a little bit more of a hassle when I said, the day before that I needed a couple days off. But they just said, go take care of your family. So Starbucks, I really appreciate that. By the way, I work at Starbucks. So being in South Dakota, visiting family, there was a lot of time for knitting, which is why you guys are here. I knew there would be a lot of sitting and just talking, especially with my grandma, because she can walk. I mean, she's a very good walker, but she gets tired very easily. So we would go and do something in the morning, and then pretty much the rest of the day we would sit, with family and chit chat and catch up. So there was a ton of knitting time. And it was fun that all of my family was supportive of me knitting, and they weren't offended by me knitting at all. I did not knit at the funeral, even though a couple people asked, "Where's your knitting?" I just didn't want to go there. So let's start with finished objects. I finished my infertility socks. These are the socks that I knit to fade so they match my Find Your Fade shawl. So last week I was right here, or last time I recorded. So I did all of that this time. So I might need to order sock blockers out here in California, just because I've been knitting so many socks. And they look really funny when they're not on the blockers. So there's one, and you guys don't really need to see two of them, do you? But there's my pair. So they match my Find Your Fade shawl, which I wear almost every day. I love my Find Your Fade shawl, and I kind of want to make another one. But yeah, so I made them shorties because this middle color right here is a single. And I knew if I made them long or like average, then that single would be right here, where the heel, like this portion here. And that's the part I feel like once it's in your shoe that gets the most wear is right here, and that would be where the one single was. So I wanted the single to be in a spot. I debated if I should just take it out, but I thought it would be too big of a jump from this one to this guy here. So I needed him to kind of bridge that gap. But I think where it is, it won't be too bad because it's right on the underside of my foot, where it doesn't rub against my shoe. So just close up. And I'm pretty sure all of these yarns are listed in my Find Your Fade and my Ravelry projects. So if you're curious as to what yarns I used, I didn't list them all in the socks because I listed them in my Find Your Fade, and these were just my scrap socks. And guys, I still have a ton of yarn left over from this. Like, I could probably do another shorty set if I wanted to, but I have so much other yarn, so I'm not going to. Some of the colors I will be able to put in my cozy memory blanket, so I'll do that, and I guess I'll find out something else to do with them. So, pair one of the trip. I'd already had a whole sock and a half done, so I didn't do the whole pair on the trip, but I finished the pair, so it counts. I'm drinking iced coffee from Starbucks. It's just iced coffee with half and half. There's no sweetener, nothing, no flavor in it, and that's how I like it. It's super strong. Well, I think it's strong, but yeah, that's what I like. I'll get one. I worked this morning, so I'll get at the end of my shift. I'll get a big one, and it'll pretty much last me the rest of the day. So yeah. Okay, pair number one. Then I started with this yarn. So I found out this is lollipop yarn in the colorway The Bright Side. This was gifted to me and there wasn't a tag with it, so I knew it was lollipop yarn because it was in a box with a bunch of other lollipop yarn, but I didn't know the colorway, and I also didn't know how it was going to stripe up, and I might have talked about it a little bit on my last podcast because I was just starting it. But I contacted Lollipop Yarn on Instagram and asked them what this colorway was, and she said, oh, that's The Bright Side. So last week I was right there. I had done the cuff, I had done the heel. Look at how it's blowing it out so much, but it really is neon, so it's probably more like that there. So last time I was right there, just under the first stripe, so I finished that whole sock. And again, it's a shorty. That's what I wear. Like, commercial-wise, I always wear shorty socks. So I thought, why am I making big, long socks? And then I don't wear the normal size socks because they always scrunch down, like on my calf. So I get frustrated with them, so I don't wear them. So I thought shorty socks are the perfect solution because that's what I wear, and why shouldn't I knit them? So I got the whole rest of the sock done, and this one still is on the needles because I just need to Kitchener the toe, but I did a whole second one. It's just a fish lips kiss heel. So look at how neon they are. But there's two. I finished this one on the plane last night, and I didn't want to Kitchener the toe on the plane, you know, and it's pretty dark. So I figured I would just wait till I got home, and then I didn't have time this morning because I was working. But yeah, so Lollipop Yarns, the bright side, just 64 inches. I don't know, I think I did like 12 rows for the cuff in 2x2 rib. I did 8 rows before I started the heel, fish lips kiss heel, and then just went down. So pair number 2 for the South Dakota trip. Socks were easy to take with me when we were like going to visit relatives. Back at the hotel, I have a sweater I'm going to show you, but when we would go out, I could just put my socks in my little, you know, I mostly carried this guy. I had a little, well, I put the little wrist strap on it, but you know, it's just easy just to clutch and to throw in the car. And a lot of the time, one of my my grandma's other sister-in-law, I just call them all my aunts, is 101. So she is in a nursing home, which was really nice. I was impressed. So it's not assisted living. I mean, there's an assisted living side to the house or the home they're in, but she had her own apartment. So it was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. She has a kitchen. I mean, it was a pretty nice apartment. So she's 101. So we would go and sit with her in the afternoons, and her daughters were all staying with her. So it was just easy to take, you know, the little bag with socks in it, and just, I don't need to really look at socks. And I don't really follow a pattern. So it wasn't like I'd have to be looking at my phone or at a paper pattern, you know, to know what to do. So that's why I worked on a ton of socks. Okay, so speaking of socks, after I finished the very neon socks, I cast on these ones. And I'm using Knit Circus yarn in the colorway Race to the Cookie Jar. It's a 80-20, so 80 merino, 20% nylon. And these were already skeined up into 2 matching balls for socks. So I'll show you this one. This is one I haven't used yet. But my mom saw these in my stash and she was like, oh, those are my colors. And I've made my mom a bunch of socks before, but again, she doesn't wear them because she wears shorties. So she's like, I don't think I really need socks. And I was like, but they're already skeined up, you know, to be like, you wouldn't really knit a shawl with this since it's already skeined up to be 2 matching socks. So she really liked the shorty socks I was knitting. And so I was like, well, would you wear shorties? And she said yes. So mom's gonna get shorty socks in these. Now, I'm hoping we just barely get to the green. I don't think, we won't get to the yellow. So I might put in the yellow for the heel, or I might, depending on how close to the green I am, I might do the green heel and then a green cuff. I don't know. Or do I just let it fade and not do the heel in a different color? But what I'm thinking is the problem with that is because the heel, if I do a fish lips kiss heel, it's short rows. So by the time you've completed the heel and you go back, it might be too much of a jump color-wise. Like the fade transition wouldn't be very smooth after the heel. So that's why I'm thinking it might need a different colored heel. But this is how it's going. And it's way more stripy than I was picturing. I thought it would just fade to the teal, but it's almost as if I'm striping it, and I'm not. But it's kind of cool. So I still have probably 2 more inches to go. Both my mom and I wear a size 10 women's, sometimes 11 depending on the shoe. But so knitting socks is quite an undertaking because we all have large feet. Even my sisters, and my grandma has a size 12. Not the grandma that we went with, but my grandma back in Arkansas has a size 12 foot. So it's a lot of knitting. So I still have about 2 more inches to go, I think. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to flip you off. Before I do the heel. So I can decide once I see how close to the green we are. But yeah, mom loves them. So she kept commenting on the plane how much she liked them, which I'm glad because you never know. So those will be hers. There's yarn everywhere. But we will get those guys back in there. So these ones are in my Freckled Whimsy bag, and you might have noticed these ones are on my Chagoos. I magic looping these, and the Bright Side socks are on double points. And these guys are on a variety. Can you see? Oh, it's hard to see. This one here is a Zing. This one here is a Chagoo, just a metal. They're all size 0, so whatever. But we were in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I looked up and there was a yarn shop. And I thought, we were sharing a car with my uncle, my grandma's brother. So I thought we probably wouldn't get around to going to the yarn shop because we would be doing family things. But on Friday, he flew out, and we didn't fly out till yesterday, which was Saturday. So we dropped him off, and then we had the car to ourselves. So then it was my mom, my grandma, and I. Pretty much everybody else left on Friday. So we had the day to kind of just explore Sioux Falls and take it easy after all of the emotional days before. So we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and I was like, well, there's a knit shop if you guys want to come along. It was right on the way to downtown. So they absolutely wanted to come. So we went to the yarn shop. It was in this adorable little old house that used to be a parsonage, I think. But I was not that impressed. I don't know if it's because South Dakota gets so cold in the winter that most of the yarns were very woolly. Yeah, very naturally woolly, kind of on the scratchy side yarns. There wasn't really anything that spoke to me, which is very unusual because who walks out of a yarn store empty-handed? But I used to work at a yarn shop, and I always appreciated when people, even if they didn't buy yarn, if they just bought something. And yeah, we weren't that impressed with the lady who was, I don't know if she was running it or just working that day, but she wasn't, I don't know. Anyways, all I got was some needles. So, what needles did I get? I don't even know. Oh, I got Hiya Sharps. Size 0. These are 40 inches. Because I figured you can always use sock needles. And the only magic loop sock needles I have right now are those Chagoos that they're my absolute favorite. But I've never used Hiya Sharps. I don't really like Addies for socks because they're too blunt, but everybody was saying Hiya Sharps are sharp. So I thought I'll try these and compare these to the Chagoos and see if I like them any better or if I just should stick with my Chagoos. If that yarn shop in Sioux Falls would have had Chagoos, I would have bought them in a heartbeat and not even got these. But it was this or Addie or Knitter's Pride, and Knitter's Pride isn't sharp. Well, to me, isn't very sharp either. So I got Hiya Sharps, and I'll let you guys know what I think about them. Yeah, so that was my only acquisition for the whole trip, which I thought was pretty good. All right, my work in progress. I'm gonna take another drink of my coffee. You guys have seen this before, and this is my Perkins Cove pullover. So this is a shirt. It's linen cotton. It's with Juniper Moon Farms Zoe is the yarn. And because it is linen yarn on metal needles, it likes to just slide right off the needles. So this was not a good one to carry around with me. I have to be careful, like when I put it in the bag, I have to tie the needles kind of like a shoelace almost, and then pull them taut. And you guys can see here, did I do it? Yeah. So it's like this, like they're tied and pulled taut. So that way, when it's in my project bag, it doesn't just fall off the needles. So this was one I just kept at the hotel, and in the evenings, we would watch, the Warriors are in the finals, so we would watch the Warriors games when they were playing. And then I would knit on this one, and then I would take my socks out and about. So you guys might be wondering what this is. let me show you. It's a mess right now. This is the Perkins Cove pullover. And it's getting quite long. Last time I recorded, okay, so this is the front. I was here. So I've probably done 6 inches, 8 inches. This marker here is when I tried it on last, and I decided I need about another 4 inches after that. So this is where I was, this is where I need 4 inches after that. So I'll show you the side. This is the armhole here. So it's like that. This one, okay. So I am an extremely loose knitter, like extremely loose. So I knew I'd have to go down a needle size or 2 for this sweater, but the pattern is also written for fingering weight yarn, and I'm using DK. So I knew I was gonna have to fudge it. So I cast on using needle size that was smaller than recommended, and I cast on like 3 sizes too small. I mean, from what it should have been. Thinking that should get me about where I need to be. And it's a super easy pattern, so I figured I could always add extra, you know, rows of increases if I needed more. But, so even though I cast on for like 3 sizes too small, the neck was still like over here. And I felt like one good tug and it would just fall off my shoulders. So I ended up picking up stitches, and I might have talked about this last time, but I picked up stitches along the neckband and just knit and kind of did a decrease to kind of pull it in. And I'm hoping once I block it, it stops rolling. It only rolls when I'm holding it. When it's on me, it doesn't. So if after I block it, if it's fine when I'm wearing it, I don't really care if it flips when I'm holding it or when it's folded. So yeah, it's supposed to be a long sleeve, but I'm making it short sleeve. So whenever you divided, you're supposed to put the sleeve stitches on a holder to knit the body. I just cast them off, and I anticipated that, so I did about 6 rows of garter stitch before I put them, or before I bound them off, so that way there's a little bit of edging. But again, it flips, but when I'm wearing it, it doesn't. I think it just needs to be pulled taut to show you. I didn't weave in the ends yet for the neck because I wanted to make sure I'm not taking the neck out. But yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. The pattern's really easy. I heavily modified it. I did short rows, so I'm a very busty person. So I did short rows for the bust to add some length there. So when you hold it up, you can't really tell right now because it's on the needles, but when it's done and I bind off, the front will be about 2 inches longer than the back because I need it to accommodate for my bust region. So I'm pretty sure I wrote down the short rows that I did. If it's not in my notes right now, it will be at the end because I think I wrote it down on my paper pattern. So yeah, so it's just this little sweater. And it's all bunched up right now because it's on those needles. So this might even be finished by next to my podcast. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get a lot of work done on it on the trip. So I packed it just in case, but I really just cranked out the socks this trip because they were so portable. This one is housed in my bags by Awesome Granny. And I bought 5 skeins of the Zoe, and I just now started my 3rd. So I don't even think I'll touch the 4th or 5th skein. So I'll have to find out something to do with those. But yeah, I'm loving this. I can't wait to wear it. The weather in South Dakota was so hot. It was like 95. And so I really could have used this if it was done. And that was another thing. I thought the yarn shop would have more summer yarns because they are in a very hot part of the country for the summers, but I just didn't see any. So I don't know. I've got my little Santa Cruz otter pin on there that I got at the yarn shop downtown. And yeah. So that is everything I knit this week. I knew that I was overly ambitious when I was packing yarn to take, but I would rather have too much yarn and not need it than to run out of yarn and not have any knitting. I think that's like a knitter's nightmare, especially if you know you have a plane flight coming home and you don't have any yarn. Oh, guys, that would be bad. So I caked up yarn for my So Faded sweater, but I didn't even touch that. So at least it's caked up now, so I can start. I think I'm going to wait till after I finish the Perkins Cove pullover to start that sweater. So that way I'll only have one sweater going at a time. Okay, that is all of my knitting projects. I am going to talk about my charity knitting drive, which I am so excited about. You guys are so incredible. I have just been floored by all of the responses to this knitting drive. So what in the world am I talking about for those of you who are new or who didn't watch last episode? We are doing a baby charity knitting drive. So I was gifted a ton of yarn here in California, and in lieu of shipping it all back to Arkansas, I'm going to ship it all to you guys. So what you have to do, you need to knit, you need to crochet, you need to sew, you need to weave, whatever craft you do. Make something for a baby or a new mom and send it to me. And if you do that, I will send you one skein of yarn. So this is not, however, you don't get a skein for however many items you knit, because I don't have that much yarn, I don't have that much money to send it all to you, and it's for charity. So I know that's not an issue with you guys because you guys are all so generous anyways, but I just want to make that clear. It's one skein of yarn per person, and it's only within the US. Right now I cannot afford to ship internationally for a knitting drive. I wish I had an unlimited budget and I could send yarn to whoever wanted to contribute, but it's just not. I work at Starbucks, so it's not gonna happen. So I recorded on Monday, and I think I put out the announcement on like Saturday or Sunday before I left. And I thought maybe I'd have like 20 people respond. You know, maybe just my close friends would feel obligated to knit and send me something. Oh, it's not for me. I'm not pregnant, although I'm trying to get pregnant. But this is for the local maternity home here. So they're like a pregnancy crisis center for mothers who need a little bit of extra help. Kind of getting their lives straightened out, getting back on track. So we are knitting baby items or crocheting or sewing, whatever you want to do. We're collecting baby items or items for the moms. If you guys want to spoil the moms. If you don't like knitting baby things and you want to knit the mom a shawl or socks to wear, or matching stuff, you know, if you want to knit a matching hat for the mom and the baby, whatever you want to do, use your discretion. So I probably would not put something 100% wool if it's scratchy, you know, on a baby's skin. But if you would put it on your own kids or on your nieces and nephews or grandkids or whatever, then go ahead and send it and we'll make it work. Yeah, it's all going to be donated. So I'm sure they will find somebody who can absolutely use it. So we're donating to the Sienna House. And if you go to, we have a Ravelry group page. It's the Jessica Ruth Knits podcast group on Ravelry. There is a forum for the charity knitting drive. And it says, it's like to cherish and to hold charity knitting drive. So it's at the very top, or maybe second from the top. But you guys should be able to find it pretty easy. All of the rules are in that forum. So if you have any questions, go check it out. The address for where you guys should mail the packages is in that forum. It's a P.O. box here in Santa Cruz. So yeah, if you guys have any questions and your questions are not answered in the forum thread, feel free to ask me via Instagram, or you can message me on Ravelry, or ask in the comments down below here on YouTube. So yeah, okay, so I thought maybe 20 people, right? Like 20 people would be, I thought that would be a huge, you know, I would be so excited with 20 people. Oh guys, I think there's gonna be so many more, like so many more. And I just can't contain my excitement about this project. I was telling everybody at the funeral get together all about what I'm doing because I'm just so excited to do this. So, and it's no reflection on me. I'm not knitting all this stuff. I'm not crocheting all this stuff. I'm going to contribute too. But I'm just so excited that you guys are excited about this. So I have had so many people message me on Instagram, on Ravelry. I've had people on Facebook say, I don't knit, but can I share this with my friends who do knit? Absolutely. Tell whoever you want to. The more the merrier, right? Like, we can't have too much stuff for this maternity home. So it's exciting. I got home last night and I had 2 packages already. So my dad was picking up the stuff at the P.O. box while I was gone, because it's his P.O. box. And so I couldn't wait to open the packages, and I'm going to show you guys. So I don't think I'm going to be able to show you guys all of the packages that I get. So we're doing this until, you guys have until July 31st to mail it out. And then we're going to kind of reevaluate and see how much stuff we have. Do I have yarn left? Have we used up all the yarn that I've got? And if I still have yarn left, by all means, we'll continue. We might find a new place to donate to. So I'm going to try to continue this until I've used up all of the yarn that I was gifted that I'm not keeping, if that makes sense. But, excuse me, July 31st for right now is the date in which you have to send it out. It doesn't need to be received by, it just needs to be mailed out by. Hang on. I have like the after you fly crud. So, okay, so I'm going to show, what I think I'm going to do is on the forum on Ravelry, I'm going to keep a running total of what we got, like what we've received in. So it'll say like baby hats, 10, baby blankets, 3, or whatever we get. I think that's what I'm going to do, just so that you guys can see all the things that we're going to be able to bless this maternity home with. So because I have 2 packages that I received when I got here yesterday, I'm going to show you guys. In the future, I may or may not show everything, or we'll see, because I don't know how many we're going to get each week. But I got this big package, was the first one we got. And let me show you. I have to save the packaging because I need to mail out your yarn. So, actually, I think yours I've already mailed out. But 3 little crocheted baby hats. Guys, look at these. What fun yarn. It is so squishy and so soft. And it is fun. It's like the kind of colors that are bright and fun, but it doesn't scream boy or girl. So you could put it on either. So fun. So we got 3 hats. There is a hat, I'm guessing for the mom. I'm not going to try to put it on because I have ugly flying hair. Look at that. Look at all those cables. Oh my goodness. So pretty. They're going to love it, guys. Okay, so we have 1 adult hat. Look at this little one. Look at that. It's like a little sun hat. Or like from the 1920s. That's what it reminds me of, like those cloches. Super cute. So I think you could like roll it down or roll it up like a sun hat. So super cute, super fun. With little jeans and a little white button down shirt, it would be so cute. So that's what, 4 baby hats. Oh guys, I want this pink. Like, I need it. I don't know what yarn it is. It almost feels like it has silk in it. Like it's got that sheen to it. I'm thinking like a Sweet Georgia. This might be what it is. But this pink is so neon and so fun. Oh, it's such a modern baby hat. I believe the pattern is the Barley, which is a super good hat, baby hat pattern to knit. I think it's a tin can knit. So it goes up to adults too. But it's just such a classic. It's got this little garter stitch panel, so it gives it something different rather than just a stockinette cap. And yeah, so if you guys need a good hat pattern, the Barley is a good one. So we're at 4 baby hats. And oops, it came unbuttoned. I was gonna say it's a little baby sweater. Look at that, guys. Didn't do a very good job of buttoning it in a hurry. How cute is that? And look on the back, There's cables. It's like super chunky yarn. So adorable. Oh, they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it, guys. You all are too good. Okay, so that was package 1. I feel like this is all stuff for me, even though it's not, but I'm so excited about all this stuff, and it's not even for me. I'm not keeping it. Oh, these people are gonna love it. Okay, somebody else is a crocheter. And somebody asked on, I don't know where, but can we crochet things? Absolutely. Knit, sew, crochet, tat, weave, whatever you want to do. So there's 3 little crocheted hats. And again, it's super squishy, super soft yarn. So it's gonna be so fun. Look at those colors. Oh, guys. So what? That's 3, 4, 7, 8 baby hats, a mama hat, and a baby sweater. You guys are so good. I'm so excited. So I will just add, maybe I'll start a new post where we can share what we're doing. Yeah, let's do that. And maybe I'll try to come up with a hashtag. If anybody has any good hashtag ideas, let me know and we can start an Instagram hashtag. So if you're on Instagram and if you're knitting something for this charity drive, we can all have a hashtag and see what everybody else is knitting. So I will do something on the Ravelry forum to keep up the tally of what we have. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just collect all of this stuff until probably mid-August. And then we'll take a picture of all of it and then I'll donate it. So anything you send now, I'm just going to tuck away until we donate in one big massive donation. I think that'll be so much fun. And this all started, guys, because this super generous lady mailed me a bunch of yarn. So it's not like this is yarn that I had in my stash or that I bought or anything, because I could never afford that. So this lady gifted me with a ton of yarn, and I'm just so thankful for what she did that I want to spread the love. So yeah, so that's how this was able to happen. And guys, knitters are just so generous. That's just the common denominator between the lady that gave me the yarn, between all of you who are mailing. I mean, you're not just doing the bare minimum to get a skein of yarn, right? Like, it is obvious that you guys want to, you guys are excited about this too. Because you could just do a little baby hat and get a free skein of yarn, and, you could. That would be totally, that's in the rules. But so far, everybody that said that they're mailing stuff has been mailing more than one item. So I love that. You guys are so generous, and I appreciate it. And this maternity home is gonna love it all. So, yeah. So that's what's been going on. And I don't know what other news I have to tell you guys. Yeah. All I did this week was go on my trip. It flew by, but at the same time, it felt like we were there forever. I met a couple relatives. I found out that they knit too. Oh my goodness. Okay. And my aunt, who is 97, her name's Aunt Leon, and she is on Facebook. And so you can tell when she's on Facebook because she won't be on for a while. And then she'll go and it'll be like, Aunt Leon likes this, Aunt Leon likes this, Aunt Leon likes that comment, Aunt Leon likes this. I mean, she just goes down and clicks like on everything. And she's like, I don't even know what I'm liking, I just like it. So she's hilarious. But she refers to me as Jessica Knits. And so she'll be like, Jessica Knits, what's for lunch? Jessica Knits, where are we going? Like, she never says Jessica. It's always Jessica Knits. What are you going to do today? So it's super cute to talk to her because it's always like, she'll introduce me. This is my niece, Jessica Knits. So I got a kick out of that. But because on Facebook, my name is Jessica Knits. And so that's mostly like we're Facebook buddies because she lives part-time in Iowa and part-time in Florida. So I don't get to see her that often. But I just thought that was super cute that she always called me Jessica Knits. What are you doing? Yeah, so this coming week, I'm going to try to finish my Perkins Cove pullover. I'm going to kind of put the brakes on sock knitting because I knit so many socks this past week, and I'm excited to knit other things. For any of the packages that you guys send in, I think I'm going to try to mail out yarn like once a week for any of the packages that I've received, that week. That way I don't have to try to I don't have to go to the post office every day, and I don't have to try to figure out, like, did I mail them theirs? Did I do this? I'll just know on mail day I have to mail yarn for everybody within the past week. I think that's what I'm going to do. So if I don't mail out your yarn right away, it's because I'm waiting till whatever day I'm going to mail yarn that week. Another thing, if you guys are dyers or makers and you want to donate something to mail out, or to give away as a podcast giveaway, that would be incredible too. Valkyrie Fibers, who, if you guys have watched previous episodes, I love her yarn. She contacted me on Instagram and is going to mail some baby stuff to donate. And she's like, oh, and I'm going to mail you some yarn to send out into the world too. So I thought that was super generous. Like, she didn't have to do that, but instead she wants to, help contribute to the cause. So if you guys have yarn, that you want to donate, I am asking for it. We don't need it, but if you want to, you could. But yeah, let's get those baby knits going. Think of a hashtag for anybody that's creative, because I'm not. And so my hashtag would be like the charity baby knitting drive. My mom kept asking me for captions for Facebook photos, and I would be like, I would say exactly whatever the photo was, and she's like, that's no help. So I'm not creative. So if somebody creative wants to think of a hashtag, let me know and we can use it, and I'll get everything set up in Ravelry so you guys can see the tally of what we've received. Yeah, I'm so excited. So let's get knitting. Knit those baby things, knit those mama things. Let's donate them. I'll send you some yarn, and we can just make the world a little better place because of knitters. So thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all. Go like the video if you did. I really appreciate that. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber and you want to. And have a good day. All right, I'll see you guys later. Take care.